is very nice to not only be back, we've been back in Chambers for quite some time now, but we have more than one person in the audience today.
That's so great.
It is so nice. It's unusual. We don't have a lot more than one. We have a handful, but I'm still happy to see it. We got coffee. We're back to coffee and Danish. And of course, we'll be visiting with the mayor of Port St. Lucie. We got a lot to unpack with him today. I know, I see your face, Malin. But first, welcome Malin Joseph from Mid-Florida Credit Union.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me, Teresa.
Thank you for being here. It's so nice. I've seen you a couple times this week. You're part of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, brand new chapter here.
Yep, you started a new chapter with Marie Letton.
Yes.
And you guys came out to breakfast. We gave you a table at breakfast to invite some of your members.
That was so nice. I'm still hearing about it, so it's a good start.
Good. We want to be supportive. We'll work together.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. You're wearing a very special shirt today. It's not that it's just casual Friday. This is Mid-Florida related.
This is Mid-Florida, yes. We are giving away a Daytona Supercharger. Starting June 30th, it will be the last day to be able to enroll. So as you use your debit card or your credit card for credit purchases, it enrolls you automatically in, so you can win. And let me tell you, the car is powerful, okay? From the minute you put in the key, it's vroom.
Yeah, I think that one's got like a V8. Brad would know, but yes, I'm not allowed to have a V8. I have a bit of a lead foot, so I better not win.
Yeah, I don't want to see you on the news, so.
No, you do not. But we do have our studio audience here. Brad Curry's back. That's a perfect car for your son, right, Brad? He would do great things with that. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So that's being drawn in June. All you had to do was use your debit credit card. Sometime in the past, I think 2 years now?
2 years, We've been doing a car every time. We also have another one going on where you can win a Honda Civic. So that's another thing. It's not a supercharger, but, you know, Hondas are good.
Yeah, they're good. They last a long time, but they don't go near as fast.
No.
But okay.
But another way to, you know, reach out to the members, because we are member-driven. We want to do everything we can to get the community involved in what's going on with Mid-Florida.
Of course, you're member-driven. You're a nonprofit, which means dividends go back to the members. Yes. You reinvest in the bank. There's no, owner. The members own.
Yes, you pretty much come and tell us what to do.
Yeah, you vote every year and all that kind of great stuff. And it does allow you some leeway with interest rates,
savings. You know, you tell us if you want your savings rate to go up liquidity-wise, or if you want your auto loans or, rates to go down. So you mitigate what we do with the money.
Nice. Yeah. So auto loans, that's a good one, because you guys have some good...
We have some good rates right now going on, whether it's refinance or purchase. Check us out on the website. You know, walk into one of our branches. We have 6 in total on the Treasure Coast. Stewart being our newest one. Beautiful branch. Branch. And then we have one at Gatlin, St. Lucie West, and the one I manage on US 1, close to the Mid-Florida Event Center. So you can't miss us. And then we are in Vero. So.
And Mid-Florida Event Center is up and running, full list
blast.
Of events. We actually tried to book it for our BNI and couldn't get in.
We busy.
Or was it not BNI, a spelling bee? I don't remember, but we couldn't get in. Yeah, Mid-Florida Credit Union's very busy.
Linda keeps it going over there. She's awesome. Yes.
And with the addition of the Florida Sportsman's Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Rick Hatcher brought that to town, and we're excited about that. We hope to see some expansion there.
Yes.
So great things happening over there.
Great things going on over there. And it's a beautiful building. I mean, it's very nice. So I was there recently, May 18th, for the Haitian Flag Day.
Yep.
So very nice.
You guys had a parade and Flag Day. Very good. You are also sponsoring another event coming up.
Yes, we are sponsoring the baseball qualifier. So, I'll be over there. We'll be over there all week.
All week you're going?
Yes.
That's a lot of baseball.
Yes, and you get to meet all our different employees and managers. So we'll all be there supporting, because this is a great thing for Port St. Lucie.
So it's an Olympic qualifier. We've got several teams playing here and in Palm Beach, and winners will move on to the Olympics. Baseball is sort of a universal game, and there's a lot of people vying to get to the Olympics. So you've got to win a qualifier event in order to go. Yeah. I will be joining you for Puerto Rico and USA.
Yes, very talented people. So this is going to be it's going to make an impact.
Yeah.
For the area, for our city. So
Economic impact. We always love that.
oh, we can't say no
Get
to
those
that.
tourist dollars in, yeah.
Yes.
So people can buy tickets to the event. They are not sold out. The games, there's tickets for
There's
all
still,
of the games
yes,
left.
there's still tickets available. So, go on there and buy your ticket. It's going to be a good event.
Yeah, you can get them at Met's website. So very good. Will I see you on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Don't forget, everybody, if you live, work, worship, or go to school in any of the service areas of Mid-Florida Credit Union, you too can be a member.
Absolutely.
It's just that easy.
That easy. Very simple.
All right, and I'll be stopping by on my way back to the office.
Yes.
All right.
I'll let them know.
Thank you for being with us, Mayor.
Yes. Thank you for having us. It is a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure.
Oh, that's so nice of
We
you.
like beautiful relationships. So
Good.
foster it.
I love it too. We'll be right back, everybody, with the City of Port St. Lucie Mayor, Greg Orvak. Welcome back to Coffee with the Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson once again, and of course, we are now joined by the one, the only mayor of this beautiful city, Gregory Oravec. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Teresa. So nice to see you.
You too. You too. I feel like we do see each other a little bit now. We're coming out of the end of COVID, but is this your first public appearance since the big announcement?
No, I feel like I appear publicly every day.
At the gym, at the.
So one of the fun things about being mayor is whether you have a scheduled event or not, you are in fact the mayor, and you cannot go to Publix, you cannot go to the gym, you cannot pass go, you can definitely not collect $200 without being recognized and talking to the good people about all the good stuff going on in Port St. Lucie.
Yep. You're the mayor everywhere you go.
It's true.
Even out of town. I got on a cruise once, an NCL, 4,000 people, got on, walked up to the pool deck. Hey, chamber lady. I don't have a name. They didn't know my name, but they knew I was the chamber lady. So yes, you're absolutely right.
So Gus, if you could switch over to the laptop real quick. Hopefully Judy can see that. Happy birthday, Judy. That's for your mom.
Now she's going to have to watch.
So let her know that we celebrated her birthday and that, of course, I am very grateful that she gave us many things, including you.
Oh, that's so very sweet. Now I feel like it's my birthday. All right.
So
I will let her
we
know.
got that most important thing, telling mom happy birthday,
I appreciate
out of the way. Now we can accomplish all other goals today, which are?
You tell me.
Well, just so happy to see some of our friends in the audience, and we're getting closer and closer to normal life, and appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. Mm-hmm. Hopefully everyone out there has been vaccinated. We continue to push that message of, hey, let's get back to normal. Talk to your doctor, get the vaccine that's right for you.
Yep.
But get one.
And you and I talked about it. I did finally get mine. I had to wait for the Johnson & Johnson to come back on board, but I'm fully vaccinated now.
Yes, so if Teresa, ever runs for office and becomes an elected official,
Which I will not.
Not that you would ever want to take her out, but she is highly allergic to peanuts. So she had to be really careful, right?
You gave everybody my kryptonite. We talked about this on our board meeting, I think, yesterday.
Did
too.
you? So it's been
so
coming up.
funny. Yeah, because you weren't there, but yesterday this came up again, and I told you when I took office at the chamber, my daughter didn't want me to tell anybody because she was afraid of a coup on the, with assassination by peanut butter.
Yeah, you got to be careful about these things, but I think this is a very loving audience, and of course, we have good people in PSL, so they're probably just going to carry an EpiPen to save you in case you ever run into a stray batch of Peter Pan or,
Yeah.
I don't know, are you a Jif or a...
I don't know. I've never had peanut butter in my life.
Yeah, so you didn't find out like when you were young the hard way?
As a baby, they shove peanut butter stuff in your mouth, and I knew then. So I've never actually,
All right.
had a peanut butter cup or a peanut butter sandwich or any of that stuff. So they've known since I was a very little baby. And I don't even think it was peanut butter. I think it was a contact exposure. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just carry our EpiPens and be there for you. But you did get it, and appreciate you leading by example. Very proud of the council. I say council, this isn't a HIPAA violation. They're like, no. So our council has been fully vaccinated, and just proud that they lead by example. Very proud of our city council.
Yeah, if they made it public knowledge, it's public knowledge. So yeah.
So what is on your agenda?
Well, I always like to talk about what's going on. There's a lot of new construction. There's a lot of new projects coming in. Some we can disclose, some we can't disclose. So that's always good to know. Memorial Day, there's going to be celebration over at Mid-Florida Event Center. We missed that when we talked with Mid-Florida earlier. And then I think, I'm not sure, but people want to probably wish you well. You are on a countdown now. We don't know what that countdown exists of, but you're on a countdown. You've made a huge announcement.
Yes, I did make an announcement, and appreciate all of the outpouring of support. It's very heartwarming. It's very much appreciated, and I have nothing but gratitude for this experience. But there's a lot of work to do, and 16 to 18 months is a long time. 2022, we could get plenty of work done between here and then.
Yeah, another year and a half maybe.
At Mid-Florida, is it a celebration or is it an observance, a Memorial Day? Of course, we have our big ceremony out at Veterans Park on Monday, and
You're right. It's not really a celebration. This is not a celebration. This is a remembrance.
and it's important. It's an important message because so many of us, if we don't take the time to really think about the meaning of Memorial Day, we think of it as a 3-day weekend, think about it as an opportunity to be with our family, to barbecue, the unofficial start of summer, all of these things, when it's really about taking a moment and taking a day to observe and remember the fallen and the unaccounted for. Our brave servicemen and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice, made the ultimate sacrifice. So here in Port St. Lucie, we celebrate veterans every day and try to keep them in our present thoughts, and not just a passing reference, but really how can we celebrate veterans, how can we remember veterans, and on Memorial Day, how can we remember the fallen and those that we have not found yet. And so it's one of those traps that a normal person could fall into of saying, celebrate or happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, somebody on our board call went over that yesterday. So we celebrate on Veterans Day. We celebrate the veterans in our life and those in service. And this is a day of remembrance. So, but there is a ceremony at Mid-Florida Credit Union Event Center, not Credit Union Event Center. So I think that starts at 10 on Monday if you'd like to come out and be supportive and share in the memorial. There'll be a lot going on out there. I'm sure Sarah Prohaska here will put up on the website just about everything that's happening. So it looks like we're going to go into questions, yes?
Well, sure. And I mean, unless you want to go through any of the projects, there's a big one out there, and I can't wait till it's announced. It's actually more than one, and hopefully a third on the way. And we just can't release the name yet. So we are.
You can for the one on Becker, right?
Well, I think everyone knows about the Fedex distribution center.
Yeah.
So if you've driven 95 and you haven't been there in a month, and there was the land was being cleared, but now there's essentially a building up. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and that's the Fedex distribution center. And of course, it connects to Becker Road. And Becker Road, if you haven't taken it from the Turnpike East, I would encourage you to do that. That's really my favorite road in the city now. So you have a couple of things working together in that eastern segment of Becker. You have, of course, the investment Huizinga made a long time ago in a really upgraded Publix anchored shopping plaza. If you're from Florida, you lived in Florida for any amount of time, you've run into a Publix anchored shopping center. And you may have seen the many different flavors. And a basic flavor is just a strip shopping center with a Publix and a dry cleaner and probably a Chinese takeout restaurant and maybe a yogurt or an ice cream place on the other end cap.
Hair salon.
Yes, and that is typical Florida development. But back in the early 2000s, because he was Wayne Huizinga, he was able to leverage his relationships with the contractor and Publix to do an upgraded Publix anchored shopping plaza with fountains and a running stream through it, and some of the design features you didn't really see anymore. And he brought it to market early. I mean, it was well in advance of the rooftops necessary to support it.
It was.
But because of his relationships, he was able to pull that off, and it was kind of a pioneer in the area. And of course, you had Tesoro, which is over the top, right? It was over the top for the time as far as how luxurious it was. So you have those things working together. But now with Greenpoint building out Veranda, and the fact that Huizinga had an oak tree farm, where you had 15-year-old oak trees, and those are now the street trees, and you have the Spinnaker piece of art in the roundabout, it's really special. And I feel like that's the bar for Port St. Lucie now. That's what we should be shooting for. And the challenge, of course, will be to continue to retrofit and enhance the existing city so that it meets that standard. Because I think you're going to continue to see that standard met in the master plan communities.
Oh, for sure. When you say master plan, you mean tradition and all those places.
Correct.
But that is,
Verano, Tradition,
all those
GL Homes, all of those.
HOA-driven communities you will
Well, in
see.
St. Lucie West, kind of, it was that first step away from GDC. If you study the history, and the Port St. Lucie Historical Society sells a great history book, by the way, and I would highly encourage you to buy it from the Historical Society.
Yep.
But they tell the story of Port St. Lucie, and a major inflection point for the city is when Thomas J. White came down and turned, that Peacock Ranch into St. Lucie West, because it was a turn from the GDC platted community into something more.
So the Publix you spoke about on Becker is my Publix. I love that Publix because you're right. It was built, though, with private money to some degree previous to the rooftop. So it's not only the nicest one, but it is the least crowded. I think I've run into Sarah there, actually, now that she's nodding at me. It's my favorite. I don't care where I'm at. I could be anywhere in the county, and I will still go to my Publix, is what I call that one. But it was private money to some degree. But I do understand the desire to have that be the standard. So we'll see what happens. I did, however, for the first time this week, be able to visit the new Publix in St. Lucie West. Have you been out to that one yet?
I have. Yes, I have shopped there.
You have shopped there? It's very nice. It's very nice. And that is a standalone, right?
Yes, they built it, down the way there.
Yeah. So that's very nice. So that's an example of retrofitting some of the Publix, because previously that Publix was in the shopping center adjacent to that standalone, which is actually a very, very nice Publix.
So Publix, as all corporations do, they feel the need to evolve to stay with the marketplace. And people are, I say excited. They're fans of like the Whole Foods experience. Sprouts is coming to St. Lucie West. There's a Sprouts already in the marketplace at Indian Street in Martin County and in US 1. And it's got more of that farmer's market feel. And I've actually had the opportunity to go there. If you ever get the chance to try the flank steak, the chimichurri flank steak, the marinated, I'm giving it away as gifts. It's so good. It's
really?
Yeah,
is it cooked or is it you?
You have to cook it, but it's marinated. They sell it marinated, and there's just some things there that you don't see at the typical grocery store, and I think that they're trying to give that experience to their shoppers.
Well, it's a marketplace. You have to be competitive, right? So
Yes,
when people write into the show, they always ask for their Trader Joe's and their Sprouts and all of these great experience type grocery stores. And so Publix has heard it loud and clear, and you're going to see them come up, raise the bar to meet that demand and to maintain their market. So that's how free market works. I love it. It's how it should work. People demand it, that's what they get. Although they're still demanding a Cheesecake Factory, and I'm not sure it's going to happen quite yet. But we're getting there.
Well, by the time we get there, that might not be the latest thing anymore.
There'll be something else they want.
In that segment, there's just ebbs and flows, right, to the in experience.
Yes, I know. We're getting some questions. You'll have a big announcement for a big project on Midway, LTC, but probably not yet. We're still in the cone on that one. Is that the deal?
That is the deal, and that's the one I want to be sure to talk about, because it's something to celebrate for what it is, but then there's a bigger story to tell about what went into this success, but can't do it. So this is just the teaser. We have to put together the sizzle reel and wait till we can announce it. There'll be an announcement next week for Project Bullet, which is going to put 400 plus people to work at higher than median salaries,
55
just to the north of the FedEx distribution center.
55 grand, I hear, is their median salary.
So it's, and the fact that they weathered COVID, because they're a leader in their market segment, Project Bullet. They're one of the top 10 at what they do. And we're a good market for them because they're not here yet and we're growing so rapidly. But they were COVID impacted, especially in the beginning. So the fact that this deal held together and they stayed committed to Port St. Lucie, I think is a testament to them that they were able to weather the storm. And then also to us, and that we're attractive to them and, you know, they want to be here. But yes, 400 plus jobs at that kind of salary of $55,000 a year is great for PSO. And so, you know, you put that on top of the FedEx, and then you put that on top of Project Senior and Project Midway, which are part of the ones that I look forward to announcing as well. That's a lot. That's, you know, that's some communities 10 years, all happening in 10 months.
I was going to say, this is happening in such a short amount of time. It is really just blowing up right now. So
I've had the opportunity to tour some other municipalities recently, and I will just tell you that, you know, sometimes you just take it for granted, everything that we're doing here.
The amenities that we have as well. So
yes, and well, on the team and the focus on the work versus the politics. You know, we've had our moments here, obviously, in the city. But for the last 4 years especially, you know, we can't control, obviously, the pandemic. But the things within our control and influence, you know, just makes me more proud of what we've done together.
And your ability to work together, we haven't seen in some time. So that's been very nice as well.
Yeah, it's special. So we do have a couple of questions coming in about the Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program and also the rental. And what I'd say on the rental side is that we have been working with the county to administer those funds. So please check out recoverstlucie.org. Also, Carmen's information you should share on Facebook. Sarah, what do you got?
I just texted Carmen to find out about the rental assistance, and he says it is not going to close anytime soon. There is still plenty of money in the rental assistance program.
Yes, on the rental side, I just think there's more money than we have demand for, quite frankly. But just making sure they can access it. And if someone is in need of mortgage assistance and they were not helped, we should get them in touch with Carmen to do some counseling and see what we can do.
Yeah, it's a hard one because there isn't a mortgage assistance right now. There's still our loan availability for businesses and business owners. And so we talked about this previously, expanded eligibility, and we want to help with that. I was on a conference call with the county yesterday. So we think more programs are going to roll out with the American Recovery.
And I would always encourage you to talk to your bank because the federal guidance, so if it's a Fannie or Freddie backed security, the federal guidance is no foreclosure till the end of June. And they do have modification programs. And there was actually a significant chunk of money made available in the last federal act relating to mortgage assistance and restructuring, but the state has to ask for the allocation, and I need to check to see what Florida did on that and what the process is. But going through your lender is really important. You should be trying to modify your loan, and if you meet the criteria, they will in fact do that. So especially if it's Fannie or Freddie backed.
Yeah, and you really should modify that. And I know a lot of them were offering sort of a period of moratorium on payments, but really the best goal here, I just want to give everybody the good advice of modifying that loan rather than just having to pay that up, make that up. You're going to have to make that up eventually if you don't modify, so.
You really have to modify because who can come out of pocket $12,000 after they haven't been able to make their mortgage payment for a year? So that's not really feasible. So you got to get them to add it to the back, or you have to refinance. And, if you have a higher interest rate, and right now you can get in at 3 and change, the savings, you might just be able to work those savings into the amortization schedule and be better for it.
Yeah.
So I would recommend you contact your lender today if you haven't already, then worry about the mortgage assistance through a governmental entity. But, contact your bank if you haven't done it.
And as soon as we get more information on what the American Recovery looks like, that program looks like, we'll do some virtual workshops, webinars, all that kind of great stuff. But we just don't have it narrowed down enough yet.
Robert Harris, the dreamer out there. Buddy, come on. I mean, really? I'm a short timer now. I could just be, I've always been direct. Now I could just be super direct. Martin County doesn't want to widen their road. We've asked them if they ever have any intent. That actually went into our calculus on tapering Becker Road down to 2 lanes before we hit a roundabout that goes into unincorporated county and then unincorporated Martin County. No, they're going to keep that a 2-lane road.
I am going to enjoy the heck out of short-termer, Mayor Vivek. I think it's going to be fun for everybody. All right, so we have no control over that one. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and on the Crane Landing, you have my support. I'm 1. You need to get to 3. And we talked before about a petition, because there is strength in numbers when you're advocating a position, and I haven't seen that petition. So, nothing on my side that I know of has changed. And so let me know if you've got that petition and I haven't seen it. But you need to work with your district council person, you need to get the support together, like-minded people, and you need to lobby it, get it in the capital improvement program, and then we can get it done. So I have been, on my side, lobbying for this in general, because I think it's great, and trying to get the commitment to upgrade a certain number of street signs per year, so that eventually the city would transition to having these upgraded street signs throughout the entire city. But it's a big city, and this does cost money, and there are competing priorities. So in order to get it done, you got to elevate it so that it competes with these other priorities and wins.
I have a follow-up question on that. When we upgrade all our street signs, are we going to correct any spellings?
So, what's funny is, this is one of those things where you think it's easy, but you'd be surprised. So, was it misspelled in the underlying plat? You might be surprised to find that it was actually misspelled in the underlying plat. So you got to check that first, because you might have to do like a replat, or go through this serious process of amending the public record. And then even if it was just 40 years ago, a well-intentioned public works employee fabricated the wrong sign, you might find that the people on the street have all of their stationery and everything done, and they don't want it changed.
Yeah, they're not going to like that very much.
You might learn that the hard way by saying, you know what, that's not the proper spelling of crescent. Why don't we change that? And then it gets changed, and then you get 30 phone calls. Why'd you do that?
I think it would be fun to find out, though.
Well, you may someday retire from the chamber and run for mayor. It'll be fun for you.
He is not foreshadowing at all. Trust me. All right. So Valencia, where is Valencia? I can't remember.
Valencia is the new GL Homes community.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Out in what we consider tradition, but truly a separate development of regional impact.
You just said GL, then I would have, okay, but I guess I don't know the names of their individual neighborhoods, but GL Homes is out.
They like the oranges. They're all about the Valencia out there. Valencia K, Valencia fill in the blank.
Yep. So that is in the Jobs Corridor area, Southern Grove. Is there any future? What's happening out there?
What I want all residents to know, where do life's difficulties come from when reality is different than our expectations? Like, at people, we can almost deal with anything. We can deal with crisis, we can deal with bad news if we know it's coming. What we struggle with is when we expected one thing to happen and then something different happened. And that's whether it's a fight with your spouse, whether it's displeasure with your government. That, in my experience, that's at the root of a lot of it. And so what I would want you and all residents of Port St. Lucie to know is that you should always check your future land use map and zoning map that kind of gives a lay of the land on what the development entitlements are. And that in this specific case, there is already development. You're not the westernmost development, Adam. There are more neighborhoods coming to the west of you, all the way out to those big power lines out there in Rangeline Road. And so there's about 55,000 dwelling units entitled west of I-95. And even if the council wanted to, it couldn't stop that development. A lot of people think, well, we could just shut it down right now. Everyone that's in is in, and everyone that's out, you can't.
Everybody
you can
wants
only
to be the
visit.
last one
You
in.
can't move here. You can only visit.
Yep.
That's not the case.
But to his credit, he's asking the question now, and you're
Well,
gonna
and
set
who
him
knows?
straight.
You know,
Yeah.
he might want to know about the 60-foot heart, you know, that's going to the east of him, you know, the piece of art, or that Tradition is planning for an amphitheater on the C-23 canal and a series of interconnected parks. I mean, you live in a great place, and it's going to become greater over the next 10 years. You know, the Cleveland Clinic will expand. They're going to have a 60-acre campus. You're going to have research there. You're having thousands of high-paying jobs created along I-95.
The east side will be a jobs corridor that will happen within the next 5 to 10 years. So what Adam needs to know is look around, and what you see now is not at all what it's going to look like 10 years
There's going to be more of it, and what I like to say is we're building something special in Port St. Lucie. So you're going to see the city continue to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to see increasing, I mean, you're going to see it build on itself. So the caliber of companies is going to continue to just be enhanced. You know, you're going to get better and better job creators. You're going to have rising household income. The city will remain safe. The city will add the staff and police officers it needs to hold the line on our quality of life. This will always be a safe place to live. This will be a place where neighbors care about neighbors, but there are more rooftops, more businesses, and probably to the extent that they still exist, shopping experiences, but definitely entertainment experiences coming to the city. And what's going to be great about Adam's part of the world is that embedded in the infrastructure is the trail system and the multimodal transportation, so that you can get on in Adam's neck of the woods, it's called the Paseo. So he can, you know, hop on his bike, hop on his scooter, walk, hop on the autonomous vehicle.
Beep.
Yes, and Tim, Tradition in Motion, and just get around this district,
Yeah.
you know, without having to get into a car. And
He's going to have lots of amenities right outside his door, for sure.
correct. And so, you know, it's going to be one of the best places to live in Florida. What I always say is, if you don't like the Florida lifestyle, can't help you. You're in the wrong place. But if you like being outside year-round, if you like sunshine, if that outdoor dining, if all these things appeal to you, then you're in the right place, and you're going to get the best value for your money in Florida, period.
Yep.
If you don't like that, can't help you. We'll relocate you to the mountains or Alaska or whatever you're into.
We have a ton of questions, so we probably should start getting through them. We haven't even asked our audience yet if they've got
Yeah,
any
let's go to the audience because they're so kind to be here.
I don't see anybody jumping up.
All right.
Oh, Michelle's
Michelle's in the house.
Okay.
Long time resident, long time participant here at Coffee and all chamber events.
Yep.
Really filled
our
our heart up at
ambassador
the last
chair.
one. Well, she really fulfilled her ambassadorship at the last one for sure.
Good morning. I was just curious, driving around Port St. Lucie, you see these street signs. They're like more like a pole light sign with the street on it, and they're really nice. Is that going to go in all of Port St. Lucie, or how long is that going to take, and who determines what goes where?
Did Robert Harris text you?
Did he say bring this up again because
Oh,
I'm not
sorry.
satisfied?
I'm so sorry. I didn't know that was already asked.
No. So, but I love it, and I do want more people to talk about it because that's how it'll get elevated and get done. So I don't know if you've seen the ones off of Floresta, if those are the ones that you saw or what area you saw them in particular. But when Robert texts in and talks about the decorative street signs, he's talking about those. So they're the ones that we installed to date are black fluted, and then they have a different way of demonstrating the street, but then they have the seal and or the neighborhood name on top. And remember, that's a big deal for Port St. Lucie because we didn't have names for our neighborhoods. GDC just called us plat number 6, plat number 8, 35. We didn't have Cranes Landing. We didn't have
Woodland Trails.
Woodland Trails, thank you. Yeah, there's 36 of them, 35, 36, and I still have to memorize them all. But in Port St. Lucie, a lot of times we would just, when you tell someone where you live, you'd give them your street name, which is kind of weird because in other cities you would say, hey, I live in Baldwin Park, or I live, in Valencia Cay. And so as part of building something special, we said, well, you have to have a name. You name your children, don't you? You don't just call them 1, 2, and 3 or whatever they are. So that was part of our process with our neighborhood improvement program. Also, as part of our neighborhood improvement program, NICE, if you've heard NICE before, and there's actually a NICE landing page on our website, we wanted to do Kickstart projects. So we got the neighborhoods together when we named them. We asked them for their input on what they wanted to name their neighborhood. And then, hey, what's a project you want to do to enhance your neighborhood? We have some seed money for those who organize. And that particular neighborhood chose the decorative street signs. And so they organized, they requested that improvement, and they got it. And so that would be the way to do it, is to get together with your neighborhood and then organize. So some people associate HOAs with gated communities and fees. We just want there to be social infrastructure that, neighbors helping neighbors, neighbors talking to each other, and neighbors planning for the future of their neighborhood. So if the defined neighborhood, if they get together and formally approach the city, then we can work on the neighborhood improvement project. But outside of that, I'm such a big fan of the decorative street sign that I'm trying to lobby the council and the city manager just to systematically roll this out with so many street signs per year. It is a big undertaking, and quite frankly, one of the opportunities that we have to do better, Michelle, is that because those are more expensive, you don't want to source 10 different inventory items, like SKU numbers, if you're familiar with what I'm talking about. You don't want 10 varieties of sour cream or milk. You just want the one that you can have the inventory of, because someone's going to run that sign over, right, in the middle of the night, and you're going to have to replace it. So what will look good but be cost effective? And I've encouraged the manager to work with the master plan communities who often use these same type of signs, as part of their upgraded amenity package, to get us the best value. What's the most cost effective pole? Look the best for the money, for life cycle, right? Because it's not just the one time. You want it to last as long as possible. What's the life cycle cost of that? And installation, all that good stuff. So I would encourage you to get with Robert, or if he's not in your neighborhood, and then Carmen Capizzuto is our staff person. Make sure he hears from you, and then make sure your district council person hears from you, and know that for as long as I'm here, I'm working on it because I love it. And I think it adds a lot for a small investment.
Is there an opportunity to do something like with the street lights? You invest in your own neighborhood, your own street. Is there an opportunity there?
There's always an opportunity for that, absolutely.
Because they can't be as much as a street light, right? Or am I wrong? Are they that much?
Are they as much as a street light? Well, with a street light, you have a monthly cost, right? Whereas with this,
It's a one-time cost.
It's a one-time capital cost because the city has to replace signs. So, like if we got in trouble And, well, it wouldn't be us getting in trouble, of course. But if you and I decided we wanted a career change and we were going to go work in public works or whatever, and we had our post hole diggers and, concrete in the back, no matter what, it's the same process of installation. You dig the hole, you put the sign in, you plumb it, really, make sure it's plumb, and you move on. And so whether it's decorative or corrugated steel, doesn't matter. That's the same process. So it's the one-time money, as you say. So the city's got to have the recurring costs regardless. But if anyone ever wants to go to cityofpsl.com/nice, they will get to this nice landing page, Gustavo, and they'll see things like, hey, want to improve your neighborhood? What are nice meetings? What is nice? Find your neighborhood, what the neighborhoods are. Michelle, do you know your neighborhood name? Boom, that's right. That's what an ambassador does right there. And Oak Hammock is great because obviously you got Oak Hammock Park right there. And it's, you got to want to go there, and it's right on the canal. It's an awesome neighborhood. And plus you have Michelle in there, so it's awesome. To me, it's ripe. It's ripe for that kind of treatment, and I totally support it, and I think it's a worthy investment. And we just need to elevate in the priorities. One of the challenges for any community, but certainly one of our size and growth rate, is like, how do you do all these things at once? How does this compare to repaving and sidewalks and building roads, because the money all comes from the same place? And the latest thing that I floated, and I think this got traction, but these are the kinds of things, like if you care about this and I'm not here, we gotta flag this, right, to follow through. So I have no secrets from you. I tell you all the little details. I tell too many details, according to Teresa. I get way too far in the weeds. I'm sorry. So I'll move this along. But what I'll say is my last meeting with Russ Blackburn, city manager, on this, is I was like, what, we're doing repaving, and we repave every street over 20 years. Why don't we upgrade the street signs when we repave the road? And in 20 years, the whole city will be done. So I'm sorry that it takes that kind of time, but that's the way that we can make sure it gets done. And if you get that built into the baseline, now you got a plan, and then you can improve on that plan, right? If it's a higher priority and you want to move it up, but at least you know it's going to happen. And I think they bought into that, and I think the council bought into that. But it's not like codified anywhere. It's not in the code. But that's how I left it. So felt like that's better than not having a plan for it. And it would be significant because every year you would see this across the city, just as you see the roads getting repaved. So that's the complete dissertation. And if FAU or any other accredited university is watching this and want to give me credit towards my master's degree, I would appreciate it.
Oh, don't you wish it was that easy?
Hey, they have courses that give life experience. I got a lot of experience.
7 years of coffee talk shows with the mayor is
That's
my
it.
life
I'm
experience.
going to package that.
Yeah. We had some other questions. I'm not sure what they were. You have announced you're not running for mayor in 2022, so you eventually will be in the private sector again, is my guess. And at that time, maybe we can start some trouble. I'm looking forward to that, too. I'm looking forward to a couple of things. Short-time Mayor Orvek and out-of-town Mayor Orvek. So we'll see how it goes. All right, here we go. Back again. Savona and Gatlin traffic. There's also another construction traffic question. It's too crowded. That one out in Tradition. I think we tackled that pretty well. There are more rooftops going in out there. You can't stop it. There are property rights. So, and then the other one is Savona and Gatlin.
So there's an issue, and so pressure of growth shows itself in traffic in a tangible way, a way that all of us can wrap our head around and our hands on the steering wheel as we're gripping it, white-knuckled. And it's frustrating, and you don't want that, because one of the things that's different about Port St. Lucie is that you're close to South Florida, but you don't have to live there. And so we want to maintain that, I think, and I've always been a big proponent of that. Let's hold the line on our quality of life. Let's never accept the unacceptable. Don't want to see the residents waiting through multiple light cycles. Don't want to see the traffic backed up a mile. Savona's a problem because you have a one-lane road hitting Gatlin, and it serves, it's a collector road, or it's arterial for this larger residential area where you have thousands of homes.
Yeah.
And they're stacking on this two-lane road. And Gatlin is becoming increasingly commercialized now. What you thought were woods are being revealed to be strip centers. And so I completely understand where Betty's coming from. So the city needs to go through the process with the public, I believe, of figuring out what these roads are going to be when they grow up. Are they going to be really nice two-lane roads? Are they going to be four-lane roads? And can we get the city to invest in the corners? What do I mean by that? Well, right now, I mean that Savona runs into a Checkers and model homes. And so traffic is constantly stacking in front of these homes. And I would be an advocate for buying those corners, putting in stormwater that would also be a beautiful feature and allow you to widen the road, at least at the intersections, so that you get more efficient stacking and you're not stacking in front of a single family home with a driveway. So at a minimum, if the traffic modeling showed it, I would support that. But the traffic models might also indicate that one of those corridors, probably Savona over Rosser, needs to be widened. And then you have to have that conversation of what does that look like, because you have all those single family homes on this road. And do you want it to be a Rosso or do you want it to be Floresta? And so there's different paths we can go. But before we get there, we're working on what's called the mobility fee. So currently, in the city of Port St. Lucie, there is a large impact fee put on roadways, but the county collects more than the city and makes us one of the highest rates in the state, and yet they haven't spent any money, any significant amount of money within the city proper. So they've taken all this money from builders and developers in the city, but haven't reinvested it in the city where the greatest impact is. And so that's been problematic for the city council, and we're trying to do something about that with the mobility fee. And over the next, it's going to take a year to get through this process, we'll be able to have additional resources to address these kinds of concerns. So it's, I know that we love to say, well, it's going to be fixed next month, but this one is not going to be fixed next month. I mean, PSL Boulevard South is going to be under construction soon. And once it's done, and that's going to take years. Once that's done, it's going to help that north-south traffic in that area of the city. But Savona, we got to get through the mobility fee. And then as part of that, once we have the resources, then the city, and I won't be here for this, quite frankly, the city should go through the process of master planning Savona and Rosser.
Yeah, I mean, that area is much different than the tradition area issues. So there were intersection improvements out in St. Lucie West that helped, which I foresee maybe being a first step along there. But you're right, we need the study, we need to get a plan, because there is no doubt that as it is now, Savona, Rosser, Port St. Lucie Boulevard are not serving the traffic needs of that area. You only have 3 roads that'll get you out of the neighborhood. And when that happens, kind of like we used to have 2 roads that got you across the river, you really have to address those issues as we continue to grow exponentially at a really very, very rapid rate. And we don't see that stopping anytime soon.
So let's take that crosstown question, because that's a great one. And I have an email I got to get to, and I don't know if it's from this resident or another one. It's been following our conversations on crosstown, and we're going to be having some follow-up. But how to deal with the noise and
That hit the news this week, so if people that are unaware is...
could you, and I'll be right back, could you share that? And
Sure. Okay. So it did hit the news this week. People on Crosstown, the houses adjacent to Crosstown Parkway, the new bridge going over the river, they have been concerned with the noise level out there. And so this is a problem that I think, hopefully, I'm not going to address. I'm hoping he gets back in here very, very shortly, because I gave you the Cliff's Notes version of the problem. I have no solutions. Where did he go?
I can tell you we've been getting a lot of calls about this since this came up. No, it was just the idea was introduced at a meeting, so it hasn't been researched, or staff isn't able to really answer these questions yet. But we are asking anyone who has concerns to call the city council office And they are keeping a database of names to keep people informed as this issue develops.
So short timer here can give his theories on solutions. Trista from the chamber will not. So we'll see how that pans out. But I do get it. I live off of Becker. It's loud at night. So I saw that there were street racing, which was a huge noise issue. So that's not allowed. So just stop doing that. How about that as a potential solution? Don't do that. Here he comes to save the day and to say anything he wants to. I'm not weighing in on this. I mean, I know it's an issue. I know people have called about it. I have no solutions that I'm going to offer up.
Well, and I want to be careful because I want to differentiate between my opinion and the council's opinion on this, because on this one, on some of the issues, there's a little bit of divergence of thought. But what the council is definitely united on is that we are attempting to mitigate any of the negative impacts from crosstown on the adjacent single-family neighborhoods. And so one of the things that's happening is noise. Noise is bleeding into the neighborhoods from the road, even though there's a berm and landscaping. And so we actually went through an in-depth process of studying it. We hired a sound engineer and we measured sound. They recently reported to the council on their findings, and the council talked about potential solutions. And the council was not supportive of a wall, but they were supportive of different strategies and innovative strategies. And so we asked the manager to study some things and come back. And that may include upgrading windows to go to hurricane glass, because hurricane glass is not only great for resiliency against hurricanes, it's great for soundproofing and weatherization. It'll save you money on your electric bill, and it keeps sound out of your home. And, you know, for people who live close to the train tracks, you know, but they love their neighborhood, I've recommended hurricane glass for a long time. And if you installed, you know that it just instantly creates a more quiet home, and weatherization will also help with that. And the other thing we talked about is it just might be cost effective to offer to buy any homes where people that meet certain criteria, like being directly adjacent and contiguous to crosstown, because we know that other people will buy the home, and the market will sort this out. If there's a $5,000 deduction in value, so okay, we'll buy your home at this cost and a premium, and we'll turn around and sell it. And that, if there's a net loss, there probably won't even be a net loss with how hot the market is right now, right? We could solve this problem, because anyone who moves in knows that the road is there and they're gonna have to deal with the sound, and caveat emptor, buyer beware. So now we've addressed the concern for the resident at a very cost-effective rate, cheaper than a wall. So those are a couple things. Now, I did have the question this last week of, would we force you to sell? No, of course not. This is only for someone who's so negatively impacted by sound that they just don't want to live in their home anymore.
Right.
And so this would never be forced upon anyone. This would be hopefully a helping hand to deal with this concern. And the other thing that came out with both the noise and just it's lingering is the Super Street intersection, which you know and many people know I have been opposed to, and I'm open to changing it. And what happened was Councilman Pickett was actually the swing vote on that one, because a while ago I had floated the idea, well, why don't we put this to referendum? Why don't we educate the citizens on what it would cost and time and money to change the intersection to a conventional one? Let them know what it really takes, like property acquisition, and you just don't go out there with a bulldozer in the middle of the night. It's gonna take 2 years to design, permit, and construct, and it's gonna cost several $1 million. That's being real. And we'd probably have to buy a couple homes on Floresta. So this is what it takes to do this project. Do you want to do it? And it'll impact traffic in this way. Like, it'll take you 30 seconds more to travel east-west. Do you want to do it, yes or no? And then it's either way, whether the voters vote yes or no. Now the voters have answered the question, the council can move on. I personally don't think the city will ever be able to move on, that this will always be a ghost that haunts one of our most special projects. Drives me crazy that we worked 40 years on the project, and it's amazing, but former staff members put this in a 985-page document, and then we are haunted by the ghost forever. Drives me crazy. Let's answer the question. So I'm a big advocate for that. 3 members of council agreed, and so we're working on creating a ballot question that would meet all the tests that we could ask the people once and for all as a whole.
Do you want to get rid of that Michigan left?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a fun meeting. Some juicy issues.
Now, I don't know how that, you think that ties into
Look
the
at Sarah
sound?
Prohaska's face. See, did you see the expression?
I know, I did see it. I think she winked at me.
She let her poker face go there. I should have taken a photo of that.
So do you think that that addresses the sound issue, though? Do you think it'll address the sound issue to some degree? Do you think it'll mitigate that? I'm
So-
not sure. It's a valid question. I'm not sure.
What some of the residents are experiencing is, and remember that noises, and you may know more about this than most people because your dad is in the industry, but
You tell all my private secrets on this show, you know that?
I'm sorry, I'm such an open person. I don't mean to divulge your secrets, but maybe they want to hire him. Who knows? I'm just trying
Please,
to get
no.
try to get the good word out there. You're always working for all your chamber members. I hope your dad's a chamber member, but sound is also sound. There's an absolute measurement on the sound, but sound's also relative because is there any background noise at the time? So the residents can actually hear people making the U-turn. So they're hearing the same car multiple times and through acceleration when it's the noisiest, or it's the noisiest relative to what they're hearing. So it's really, that is part of their specific complaint. There will always be noise on Crosstown. So for this 6-lane road has more traffic and is noisier than West Virginia or any of the road that previously existed. So I think the change is hard to deal with, and I think that's why offering to buy the homes deals with the change, because anyone else who moves in will know that it's there. If we put in a wall, we could actually deal with the sound. If we were able to build a higher berm, we'd be able to actually deal with the sound. But there's not enough room really to build a berm, and you'd have to take out all the existing landscaping to get the slopes right. So,
And I think it would mitigate it to some degree, but not probably the degree that would get these people to be that comfortable with it. The berm. The wall, maybe, but you're right, there's not a lot of room there.
So we got a question from Mr. Stanley about the overgrowth and the Greenway by Baynard and Wolverine. And what I would say for that is if you could go to cityofpsl.com/1PSL, if you haven't already, and just send that concern to us. We'll follow up specifically. So the city has hundreds of miles of canals to maintain, and we have a maintenance schedule. And so we can look up your specific section and let you know when it's due for maintenance. And I'm sure that Sarah Maureen will give you the contact information so that we can follow up on that concern.
Very good. You said the wildlife? I didn't see the rest of the question, but that's.
Well, just the concern that there's so much vegetation that the wildlife gets pushed out and they can't access the water.
Oh, very good. Oh, we have another question from the audience.
Excellent.
Head on up. I don't think there's a mic here. Oh, there is? Very good.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Question I'd like to ask the mayor and also yourself is, since Port St. Lucie is growing so big, there's going to be a lot of students attending schools in Port St. Lucie. Some of us have children, we have grandkids. The question I'd like to ask is, I don't know if you can get the help from maybe the contractors that's building Port St. Lucie, But some of the locations where some of the kids catch the bus, especially in the wintertime, is very dark. If they can get some kind of protection for them, where they have a safety zone, just like a couple of weeks ago, we all saw on television, this young kid is fighting some deranged guy that's trying to take her. I'm asking for us to get some kind of protection for our young kids, with a solar system, where they have maybe just like the police have cameras that protects the kids in this safety zone before they get on the bus, especially in the fall when it's dark, like I said. And since Port Louis has grown so well, is there any way we can get this for our young kids' protection?
Thank you, Derek. So what I'd want to share with you is if you drive some areas of the city, you'll actually see school bus stop shelters now. And I'll never say that something like this, that it's a good idea, is impossible. But what it's going to take is a bunch of like-minded people like you working with council members and staff to lobby the school district. Because here's what's happened. So once upon a time, former council, and I don't know if it was Patricia's council or you would have definitely been on one of the councils that did this. The council recognized the merits of what you're saying, and they and City Manager Cooper worked to get some donated and others constructed school bus stop shelters. Unfortunately, the school district moves their bus stops based on the population of their children every single year and will not guarantee us the same bus stops every year. So the problem is you build the shelter, you put the money into it, and next year the school district moves it because when they mapped out their kids, they didn't have kids close enough to that street. They had to make it more efficient, and they moved. There's no bus stop in that area, or they moved it 4 streets to the west. So that's what's going on right now, buddy. They won't commit to the same bus stops year after year, even though we've specifically requested it. So, you know, in this realm, when that happens, you have to lobby harder. And to do that, you need to assemble the coalition. So.
And know the question. The question is, will you commit to bus stops if we build them?
Yeah, so you got to have a conversation like, hey, you know, the residents have really asked for this. You know, we want to serve. They're your customers. They're our customers. Could we look at these neighborhoods at this scale and just agree that we'll always have a bus stop here? We haven't been able to do that yet. So there'll have to be some advocacy efforts to make it happen. But it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always nice to see you, Derek. All right. What's up? Did we push some questions down? Is this our last question?
Dun, 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 dun. All right, Alan King, you win the award for last question of the day.
Yep.
Boop, boop, boop. So the answer to this specifically is going to be whatever is in the master plan document. You know, so there's actually a map on file, a plan to scale that's going to show the FPL corridor and how close a developer can get. So technically, the FPL right-of-way is wider than the lines themselves. But in your particular area, it's going to be how the developer interfaced with the FPL lines. Did they put their green space, their berm, their landscaping in between the lot lines and the easement, the FPL easement? So I'm not an attorney, but I can tell you based on experience that when you look at the plat map or you look at a property survey, or even if you just, for close enough for our purposes, if you go to the property appraiser's webpage, the map will actually render the FPL property line, easement line. And technically speaking, the adjacent property owner could build right up to that line depending on what the code provides. Master plan communities have their own code. That's why I told you to look at the map. But technically, they could go right to it. Most places in Florida, in single-family neighborhood, you're going to have a 25-foot rear setback. So you want to get closer than that. But don't know specifically why it's a concern. like if you're waiting for your home to be constructed out there and you don't want to be too close, but take a look at the master plan graphic, the plan view for how your community interfaces with the power lines.
All right. So we answered all questions. We had 2 from the audience today, so that's nice.
We had an audience. That's nice.
We had an audience. We had coffee cake. I'm super excited about it.
We're back, baby.
That's right. And so we want to invite everybody to come on down. This is going on, is it the 3rd Friday or the 4th?
We seem to move it as,
Oh, okay.
necessary, depending on scheduling.
It's the 4th? I'm getting a signal that it's the 4th. So.
Well, I mean, math tells us that today is the 4th Friday.
Well, see, you assume that I know that, but I don't. All the day, they run into each other. For all I know, it could be the first Friday.
The 27th or the 29th, but
Yes. So I want to invite everybody to come on down next month for sure. 4th Friday, we're going to be in city chambers. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have coffee cake. You're going to look up the actual date for me.
Yes.
And we're not going to change it. We're making a commitment here live.
June 25th.
June 25th. You and I can't be here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was just fun for me. Okay.
Good job.
All right.
Well done.
All right. So we'll be here June 25th. We want to invite everybody back down here, and we're going to feed you cake and coffee, and I'm excited about it. It's nice to have the interaction with the audience.
It is, and we should have a great month.
We should. I look forward to it. And if nobody else has anything, I think we're good. And you want to add anything before we go?
This meeting's adjourned.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to Mid-Florida. Have a great day, everyone.